Hi, my name is Niecy Nash Betts, and I feel very sexy about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
Yes, this is the best answer. I've been listening to years and years of people say, I feel, confused. I feel less than enthused. But you nailed it. Very sexy. And by the way, you look amazing.
Thank you.
You look incredible.
Thank you.
And you always do. You came on my show many times. You always look absolutely divine.
Well, see, and that's part of why I feel sexy, because I have to pull up for you. I'm Team Coco. Like, I'm in it.
Yes,
I'm all the way in it.
You're all the way in?
I'm all the way in it.
I've never been all the way in anything.
Yeah, I'm all the way in it. So when I pull up for you, I have to present.
That is fantastic.
Hence, I feel sexy.
Yeah. And look at me. I just look like I sort of work at the library. And they won't even let me near the books.
I'm doing enough today for the both of us.
Okay.
I got it. I got you covered.
Amazing.
I got
you
you covered.
Incredible. I was just telling you that I was, just before I sat down to talk to you minutes ago, I was talking to a bunch of students who came by, and they're all studying communications, and they wanted to know, give us some advice about the business. And I talked to them for a while. And the first thing you said when I came in is this: what did you tell them? Did you tell them?
I said, did you tell them the truth?
Now you tell us what the truth is.
Oh my goodness.
Let's hear it.
If you want to, to prepare you for show business,
yep,
make sure you buy a big flat of top ramen.
Yeah.
You need ramen noodles. Because
that I didn't say. I lived on chicken-flavored ramen noodles, and I could make a tuna fish sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I lived off of for years.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's why you got to tell the kids right.
I didn't say that.
You got to tell them to always make sure they have Advil or some sort of pain reliever, because you get a sore back sleeping on different couches.
Yes.
You got to tell them these things.
Yeah.
You got to tell them that they will talk about you right in front of your face in an audition like you're not even standing there. This happened to me. I'm literally in an audition. And the one woman says to the guy sitting next to it, well, she has a cute face. Do you think she could lose weight? And I was like, I can hear you.
You're right there.
I'm right here.
First of all, that experience, you do get dehumanized. I feel, I was always a writer. I never went just the pure acting route for good reason, and I think I saved America some bad acting. But I see how you have to go. They'll bring in 9,000 people for one role, and they read you, and they probably stop seeing you as a person, and more as just like, this is a commodity. Can we use this person? Can we not? And then they shuffle you through, and that does such a number on people's egos. For me, I have to say that. And this is another thing you could tell the kids that I've always known, that there is a difference between the call on your life and a hobby. Those are two different things. Mm-hmm. You're going to show up differently, because when I knew that this was, my plan A and my plan B was to make my plan A work, when I walked into that room, if they did not choose me, I had no problem saying, I feel so sorry for you. And I meant it with my whole chest. That's great. That's
You know what I mean? Because you don't know. I'm going to be the thing. You'll see. Yeah. Watch and see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So where did you get that? Where do you get that confidence? Because a lot of people would kill to have that confidence. I get that confidence if I've had a lot to drink.
Oh boy.
No, really, just a lot to drink. I feel like it's if you're missing out on this, and my wife says, "Shut up." I am it. And she's like, "You're really not." But that's how I feel if I've had some kind of substance.
Well, I would probably have to say very early on, I just chose to believe the manufacturer. I'm like, that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I pray and I understand what my marching orders are, what I sense in my spirit is for me, and I just move forward with reckless abandon. I don't even think about it not happening. And when people don't see it, I'm like, oh, okay. Even from when I met Ed Asner as a kid on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Mm-hmm. I told him, I was like, I know you don't know me. My name is Niecy. I'm going to get a star right here one day. And he was like, yeah, kid, scram. And
he put a cigar out on your head.
Basically. And I was screaming as he was walking away, remember my name. So I didn't have a doubt about it.
But then you got a star.
And I invited him to come.
You seriously did?
I invited him to come. He sent me a letter and said, I reminded him of our conversation. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm glad you didn't let a crotchety old man keep you from your dream.
Oh, God
And
bless him.
he said, of course I know your name. And he drew a star and he wrote my name in it.
Oh.
And he said he could not come.
Mm-hmm.
But the day before my ceremony, I got a call and he said, I'll be there.
Wow.
And he came.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he came to my star ceremony.
It's funny because you have to have, there's no other word than some sort of divine voice in you that tells you this is gonna work. You know?
Yes, and even though you have it, it doesn't mean you don't have days. You tell the kids this too. Get you some knee pads because you're going to be crawling across that floor, hollering and crying because there are some things you want so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And even though you know everything is divinely ordered in your humanity, we just want what we want when we want it, you know, and how we want it.
Yeah.
So I've had days like that, you know, where people didn't see me like I saw myself. People thought I was a one-trick pony for a long time. They're like, oh, no, you do comedy. We know what you do. And I'm like, I can do more than that.
Yeah.
You know the adage, people who can make you laugh can make you cry. The reverse is not always true.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Your best dramatic actors, you're probably never going to see on a comedy and, you know, a multicam coming this fall. You're not.
Right.
You're just not.
Right.
But somebody who can make you laugh has the bandwidth, has the agency, has the depth to also bring you to tears. And I was like, give me a chance. And for a long time, they said no. And then finally, I got a chance. And now I'm doing so much drama, I think people forgot I'm funny. I'm like, oh, Lord. Conan, write me a script.
Obviously, I love The Americans. I love Perry Mason. And I love the take on it. I love that the first season was about, it's the origin story, which I thought was brilliantly done.
Yes.
And now that that's been settled, you're off and running, which is fantastic. But I must mention your stunning cameo in Cocaine Bear.
Yes. Hey, and I want to start by saying, when I read the script, and then one of the first lines says Andrew Thornton II.
Mm-hmm.
So if you Google Andrew Thornton II, surely I've already said, I've pitched this to Elizabeth Banks. I said we have to do the prequel that leads up to that moment where he's throwing cocaine.
Because he's a fascinating story.
Oh my God.
Yes.
He's unbelievable.
But the film opens, and I don't think I'm spoiling much of anything. But I would have. I'll go see you in anything. So
Thank you.
I not know that Elizabeth Banks? I'm friendly with her, and I was excited to see Cocaine Bear, and I really enjoyed it. And so the whole thing was a success. But if I hadn't known any of those things and I just heard that you were in this movie, I'd have said, well, it's Matthew Rhys. I got to go check it out. And so I would go, and you are gone very quickly.
Oh, yes.
Instantly in a way that's hilarious.
Yes, but it was very strategic because Kerry was shooting in Ireland. Ireland was being shot as Appalachia, obviously.
Right.
And I'd been with the kids going to various aquariums for some time, and I'd read the script, and in passing I said, "Who's playing that? Who's playing Andrew Thornton the second?" She's like, "Who's he?" I was like, "The guy at the beginning, the whole reason for this film."
Right.
And she's like, "I don't know. I'll ask Banks." I was like, "Text Banks now. See if any." She goes, "We haven't even cast it yet." So I said, "I'll do it. I'll do it because it would mean half a day away from the children." Kerry wasn't in the scene, and I knew I could get like a solid 3/4 of a day on my own.
Yes.
And that was
Brilliant.
my sole reason for doing it.
And then you held out for $10 million.
I did.
And you got it.
I got it, but I think it was worth it. I think I was worth it. And I had a lot of fun.
It's the best 80 seconds
of my
film
my life. That's all my reel is now, is that 80 seconds.
We're talking about this antique motorcycle. It reminds me that I heard that you got yourself this boat recently.
Yeah.
And I love the way you got the boat.
Yeah.
Which is it started, which is a deadly combination. I think were you on the internet?
I was.
And was drink involved?
And late at night, yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was actually Welsh whiskey, I hasten to add, which I don't usually drink. So I count that as part of this madness befell me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do occasionally like to look at old boats.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking, and I'm a little bit of a Hemingway fan, and
Sure.
I saw this boat which I knew Hemingway had a Wheeler Playmate, and I saw a Wheeler Playmate for sale on eBay, and I knew there's very few around. This boat was also called Rarebit. Now, I don't know if you know the dish.
Welsh Rarebit, yeah.
She was named Rarebit in 1939, which was built in Brooklyn. And so many planets were aligning and colliding.
Oh, that's a voice from beyond saying, "This, you have to do this."
Right. And that's what I told Kerry in the morning. I said, not that I have to do this, that I had done it. Yes.
Reeking of alcohol.
Yes, I've bought a boat. And she's like, you don't even row. I was like, oh, it's beyond rowing.
Oh, we're not talking about rowing, my child.
No. We shall take family trips to this. So, so I embarked on this 4-year odyssey of madness where I restored this boat. Well, myself and the captain did. She kind of spearheaded the restoration because so many things went wrong. We started out with a shipwright who said he would do it, didn't do it. Another one didn't do it. So in the end, my captain said, we'll do it. Listen, there's plenty of YouTube videos. We just need to do that. We'll be fine. And that's what we did over many years. And then we passed the inspection, and now she's being chartered in New York Harbor. I am still waiting for the captain to call going, we're going down. And it's that little bit in the front that you did. You half-wit. Yeah.
You said you patched it.
I did. I didn't say with what. Yeah.
So this is the boat, because I'm also a Hemingway fan, and I think this is the boat that... Did he have this boat in Cuba?
He did.
Okay, and I think there's famous footage of him. He would go out and fish on this boat.
Yes.
And it had a big chair, like a big
fighting chair.
Fighting chair.
Yeah.
And then he would unfortunately also drink a lot on the boat.
Yeah.
Which is didn't help things for him.
No.
I was in Cuba once. I didn't get to see his house, but I was shooting something in Havana, and I was in a bar. I was shooting a travel show in Havana.
How long have you been doing this travel show?
It was called Conan Without Borders. It's now, we're shifting into something else. We're going to give it a different
name.
Conan
with Borders.
Conan with Borders.
Good.
Responsible Conan.
Oh, good.
Conan who stays within the county lines.
Mental borders.
Yeah. It's just me roaming around a very small portion of Los Angeles.
Brilliant.
Mostly in the same mall.
Brilliant.
But I was there, and I went to a bar, and I guess it was one of Hemingway's favorite bars in Havana, and there's a big statue. There's a life-size statue of him at the bar. So it's a life-size Hemingway in bronze that's at the bar, leaning against the bar, having a drink. And I thought, he was an alcoholic.
Yes, I know.
This is strange.
I know that.
This is strange.
Yes, the applauding or the deifying. I know.
It was a little strange. It was, but whatever.
Yes,
still,
I know.
After a few drinks, I was happy to see the statue
and have your photo taken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
several photos.
I know. I do have this strange relationship with Hemingway. Kind of, I think it boils down to my own strange relationship with kind of possibly what I do and. Do you say machismo?
Yeah.
Yes. So I kind of grapple with all these things at times, because sometimes I look at what I do and I go, oh my God, this is so stupid. Or I feel at times very emasculated, and therefore I wonder sometimes if I overcompensate by doing stupid things like this, or whether but then at the end of the day, I enjoy it.
It's a boat. It's a beautiful boat.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
I know.
And I accept your invitation.
Glorious. I stuttered too heavily.
Wow,
you're
bad. Not quite as good an actor as I thought you were.
No, polish isn't there yet. Yes. Ah, damn it, ask me again. There's always a second take.
That's why I love soap operas, is that and certain kinds of TV dramas, is that an actor will clearly register displeasure, but the other actor... so you'll come to me and you'll say, well, Conan, I'll be spending the weekend with you. And I'll go, the weekend with me? And then you'll go, problem. And I'll go, not at all.
I know.
And then you're as happy as a clam.
I know.
Whereas anyone else in the
go,
world...
Did you blink for that length of time? What happened to your brain in those 4 seconds?
I love to do that in real life.
I know.
But I think I'm happy that you got this boat. I think it's great.
Well, then come aboard anytime you want.
Oh, seriously,
the children don't go near it anymore. They've only done it like twice.
I think it's you and me out on the ocean
together.
Pretty
much it. Sending out distress calls.
We can't have... Immediately, I'll be sending out distress calls...
We don't.
When it's slightly rocking,
yes.
You'll say, Conan, we're fine.
Why is it doing that?
Why is there motion in this vehicle?
Make it stop.
I am going to. Well, you're a busy man. You're a busy man. You have things to do. You have worlds to conquer.
I say I do.
I know, but you know what? Everyone. I learned to say it. I used to say I have nowhere to go.
Oh,
and my time is yours.
yes.
I was dead in Hollywood. So what I love is when you get the call ahead of time, Matthew Rhys, he's got a lot going on. He's very busy. And so I know that if I follow you down to the lobby, you're going to go across the street, get a bubble tea.
No, there's a biryani truck outside. I clocked that on the way in. I'm no stranger to some street Indian food.
You are a pure delight. You're a crazy talented actor, but
God.
also you are hilariously funny. And it is a personal grudge of mine. When handsome, talented actors are also hilariously funny, it enrages me because I like to say this was my consolation prize for other things. So fuck you.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
Thank you. Now there's
it's not right.
No, there's a turn of phrase I've heard many a time and will happily hear again.
What?
Fuck you. Thank you.
Oh, I always heard the Welsh were just brilliant poets.
Yes.
And there you heard it right there.
You heard it right there.
Can I hear it in Welsh?
Kerry Gravy.
Kerry Gravy.
Yeah, there you go. Perfectly said.
Kerry Gravy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to keep that one.
Yes.
That will come in handy.
I was doing a play once off Broadway, and I was playing not a very likable character, and I would say within half a block of the theater after finishing, and a woman was walking in the opposite direction of me. I was walking away from this. She was coming towards me, and she just went, "You're an asshole." And then I thought, oh, she's seen the play.
Yeah.
And then I went, hang on, she's walking in the opposite. I'm walking from the theater. She's walking in the opposite direction towards it. So maybe she hasn't seen the play. And that stayed with me forever.
Did you ever find out?
No. And I've always wondered whether she's seen the play or not. Or whether.
Then you married her.
And that's when I knew.
I'm so needy. That's the woman I would follow.
Exactly.
Is there any way I can make it up?
It played into every insecurity I had. Played.
Matthew, good God. It's just as made my day. Seriously, thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation as always.
Oh my God.
Is a true joy.
Yes, I will come. I will haunt you and your boat. You'll see.
Please do. It needs a ghost.
The first thing I wanted to mention is I believe you and I are the same age. Born the same year.
63?
I'm 77.
Okay.
No, I was born in 1963.
Yeah, me too.
So we're both the same age. And you guys are headed out on a tour, the M72 tour. And you guys are leaving. This is going to come out pretty soon, this tour. You've got this new album, 72 Seasons. And I've been listening to this one track, Lux Eterna, on it, which I listened to this track and I'm thinking... These guys have not lost a step.
Well, thank you.
No, but I mean, this could have been 1981. It's stunning to me. You guys, you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. And here it is all these years later. You're headed out on this massive tour that's going to last 2 years. If someone told me I was going out for 2 weeks on a tour right now, I would find the nearest chair and beat them with it.
Run over to Jack's house.
Yeah. I would hide under all his CDs. I don't know how. How do you? I mean, at this point in your life, the physicality, the amount of determination it takes, it just blows my mind.
The easy answer is that it doesn't get any easier whatsoever. And as I've been explaining this in the last week or two, as I've started hearing myself do interviews again about this around this new project, it takes twice the effort or more just to reach the same level, just to plateau. So it's not, I'm on the Peloton an hour and a half a day and I'm working out and I'm watching what I'm eating and I'm being healthy and all that to get better. It's just to stay the same at this age. But, I take it seriously. All of us in our own ways take it seriously. All of us have different routines, our own unique ways of approaching it. And the main thing is that when we get up on that stage, we want to be there for the other guys in the band and obviously for the audience and be the best we can be. I do find myself often at a sort of crossroads in my mind where it's like I eat the same shit for breakfast every day. I eat the same shit for lunch every day. I eat more or less the same thing for dinner every day. I'm very, very routine based, and I really like to be in that routine.
Mhm.
But as soon as I'm out of that routine, it's like, oh, I need my tofu for dinner, and I need my protein, and I need this and that. And then I kind of sit there and go, really? You can't just go to a restaurant with your friends and have like what's on the menu? You gotta be that rigid. So there is that kind of rigid thing that you really feel that that's how you get to the place where you can be your best every day at those shows. The other side of that, if you could sit here with your 22-year-old and go, really, that's what you've become? So it's sort of, it's like it's a constant battle between those two approaches. But somebody said a couple of weeks ago when I was explaining these new lifestyle choices, as we call them, he said, it sounds like it feels good to feel good.
Yeah.
And I like that. I still occasionally drink, but it's like once a month now. And I eat my protein and my yogurt and my egg whites and my tofu.
You know, you're describing the rock and roll dream.
That's right.
You know, this is the funny
Careful
this is the
kids
funny
out
thing.
there. This is where you're going to end up if you want to keep doing this.
There are
shit.
so many kids. There's so many kids since like 1981 that'd be like, I want to be James Hetfield. I want to be Lars Ulrich. You know, that's my dream. And to find out later on that it's, well, okay,
It's tofu and egg whites.
9 hours of sleep a night, hydrate, avoid the sun, check your stool every day
That's right.
to make sure there's no corn in there.
This is
But you know,
this is the way life goes.
This is
boys
the way
and
it goes.
girls.
You know, the best. This is my favorite analogy. My favorite analogy for life and aging, and it's not funny, but it's very profound, and it's something that I think about a lot. Is that when you're born, you're dropped into a fast current, and so you don't even have to do anything, and you just start growing taller, you start getting muscle, you start, everything. And then the current starts to slow down in your late 20s, early 30s, and then 40, and then the current kind of stands still. So in order to make any progress, you need to then the current starts moving against you. So that in order to just stay in the same place, you need to start doing butterfly strokes and working hard. And what you're describing makes sense, which is what we were just doing in Norway, shooting this TV project. I did the same thing as you.
Yeah.
I was my weight, and I was working out. I was eating right and everything, just so I could run around and be the jackass that I was 25 years
exactly,
ago.
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
And you know what? I mean, as easy it is to make fun of, and we can sit here and blah blah blah. But I like when I'm up on stage and I feel strong and I'm in that moment, and the four of us are connecting, and we're connecting with an audience, whatever the size is. All of it's worth it.
Yeah.
All of it's worth it. And I do actually. I'm 20 pounds lighter now than I was at the peak or the bottom, however you look at it, of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually feel good and, proactive, and we get shit done and we move shit forward, and it's kind of cool.
Well,
and
so
it's not.
You can't do what you do. You cannot do those shows, and you just cannot do it. I mean, to think about what it takes, the caloric burn, but also the concentration.
It's also the mental element of it. If you feel good, like the analogy, for instance, with alcohol is that if I have a couple glasses of wine, a couple glasses of champagne, it's not really going to affect the show the next day. But a couple of glasses of wine will affect my sleep. Yeah. Because then I got to go up and go to the bathroom 2-3 times or whatever. And then the sleep affects the mood the next day. And then the mood and the sleep and all that shit then affects the 2.5 hours on stage. So there's a domino effect at play here that you have to be respectful to. But listen, who would have thought that, coming up on 41 years later, that Metallica would still be functioning, would still be relevant enough to be sitting here with you guys. Thank you very much. Still
You're
be, going out there, going out there and playing, a 2-year
You cleared a high bar, Lars.
Going out there and playing a 2-year tour and putting records out that still connect with people, and even in the wake of something like Stranger Things last summer,
I know that was crazy.
Reaching more and more people. Who the fuck would have thought that 40 years ago?
Well,
or even if we were sitting 20 years ago and going, in 23, the biggest rock bands in the world would be the Chili Peppers and Guns N' Roses and AC/DC and Metallica or whatever. You would be going, no, there'll be a whole new, younger generation coming in and dethroning everybody, who was big 20 years ago. And we'll all be, in retirement homes somewhere. And we're still out here doing it. And Guns are still out here doing it. And AC/DC is out here and so on and so forth. That's a crazy thing. Yeah. And who would have, again, thought, if you take it a step further and say, McCartney just turned 80. He's still out there. Yeah. Jagger is doing all those sexy bum wiggles better than he's ever done and connecting. But
he's doing it against his own. He can't stop. Now it's involuntary.
No, but
You're trying to.
Turns out it was always that way.
It's a spasm.
It was always that way.
It's certainly. It's inspiring, and I think that as long as the shoulders and the necks and the knees and the backs and all of it, if they keep functioning, on the 4 Metallica guys, we'll keep doing this hopefully for another 20 years, egg whites and tofu included.
There's something about your past that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that do make sense, but I didn't know that you were in the U.S. Army Reserve.
Oh, yeah.
And I cannot imagine you in any situation where people are telling you this is how you must behave and this is what's required.
Yeah, really tough.
I just can't imagine you
tough
falling into line. You did that for a couple of years, right?
I was in the I was in the reserves to avoid going to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of old,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, I know. I know. We'll bring that up second. That's my next question. You seem very old to me. That's my next question. Which isn't even a question. I'm realizing none of these are questions. These are just statements.
Yeah. So I was in the reserves to avoid Vietnam, and I was in it. I went to basic training. I had occupational specialty school. I was a petroleum storage specialist, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So then I had to go to meetings once a month for the next 6 years. And to go to the meetings were near my parents' apartment in Brooklyn. And I was living in Manhattan. So once a month I would go home. And I had a big... I think the word was at the time, Jufro.
Now you have. That's
Wait,
now.
do I tally this?
No. That's he has one anti-Semitic comment to my 2.5.
The score is 1 to 2.5. This is anybody's game. Wow. I'm excited.
I can't believe we're competing. I got this now. I want this.
So anyway, I would stay with my parents for the weekend, and I had a wig, and I would wear the wig, and I was doing this once a month. And then in the summer, there was a summer camp that you had to go away for 2 weeks. So all these guys were in my unit. And then I heard about a psychiatrist who was writing letters for like $250. And so I went to see him and I talked to him for, 45 minutes. And he wrote me up this letter. And the letter basically said that I was crazy. And I took the letter, and I'm in for 2 years now, so I know all these people. Imagine coming to work and acting insane.
Yeah.
Which is what I did. I had the letter. Where's the major? Where's the major? I need to talk to the major. Yeah. So
did it work?
I saw friends. These are friends of mine. I socialize with these people. I see them all huddled together, pointing and looking. What's pointing at me? What's he doing? What's with David? What? Look at him. Look at him. And then I went to see the major, and the major was reading the letter, and he's talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm answering his questions. And after 5 minutes, he says to me, "Can you drive home?"
Oh my God. Wow.
What?
And I swear I said this line way before Dustin Hoffman said it in that movie. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm a good driver." I'm a good driver. And that was it. And I got out.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Do you still have that letter? You must.
I don't think I do.
Okay. We'll find it.
Yeah. But quite I have to say, tremendous performance on my part.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
I can tell.
Yeah.
And here it was spectacular.
Yeah, it's really
Good
good.
lighting and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's because you were also, the job I can imagine you having, which you did, was you were a limo driver for a while. And I don't know if you ever did this, but this has happened to me many times where I go to the airport and I get picked up and my wife and I are in the back and we're chatting. And then out of nowhere, the driver says, "Well, I have a cream for that." You know, so they've clearly been listening. It's like your phone when it knows you've been talking about, maybe I should go buy a new camping tent. And then your phone suddenly suggests, you know, REI is just a block and a half away. And it's this eerie feeling.
Right.
Were you a listener? Would you listen in and interject?
Their conversations really weren't interesting enough.
Yeah.
She was an old woman. She was practically blind. She could see a little bit.
Right.
And I took complete advantage of her because she couldn't see. She didn't know if the car was filthy or not. And it was filthy. So I would hear from the back seat, "Is the car clean?" I go, yeah, spotless. Car's spotless.
Yeah always means not true. That's a giveaway.
And she'd say to me, "You got your hat on?" Because I had a chauffeur's cap.
Sure.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I got that. I got the cap on. Yeah, I got the cap on. And then one of her friends squealed on me.
Who would do that?
She saw the car, the condition of the car.
It was a Datsun.
She saw how filthy the car was, and she squealed on me, and that was it. I got fired.
Now, let me ask you a question about your life, which is, are you able, when it's been a really tough news day, and you're watching things go down that maybe worry you as a husband and a father, are you able to go home and shake that off and say, "Oh"?
It really depends. I mean, sometimes yes. I mean, look, most news is not good news, right? Most news is negative in some way or another. Like some things are very distressing. Obviously, the school shootings are very upsetting. War is very upsetting. You know, January 6th was very upsetting. That sort of thing, and it's tough to shake it off. But generally speaking, I go home and I try to change the subject. I try to, just be with the kids and be with the wife, and I don't watch news. I'll watch you, or I'll watch other things on streaming or whatever, but like I'll try not to watch any news when I go home.
Do you, I mean, I guess Twitter has become a different thing, but
it's really weird now, isn't it? Are you on it? Like the algorithms are all
I got
off. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I didn't go on it that much, but there are certain ways where you can get the news in kind of a straightforward way on Twitter. And then I felt like it started to change, and now I'm seeing a lot of stuff that just really depresses me. And I feel like a very heavy lens has been put in front of me that's distorting the picture.
I feel like there's an algorithm that, look, all social media has this now where they've all been doing this, where they're exacerbating and making us see conflict and hate and stuff like that. But I feel like this new permutation of Twitter is like, it's showing me things I don't want to see. Like there's a whole, I have the people I follow and I want to read them, but like it defaults to some other group of tweets that like I don't want to watch. I don't want to read these tweets from these people. Who are they?
Right.
Like they've added this thing of like, here are tweets that we would like you to read,
as opposed to this is what you would like to read.
Yeah, from really awful people, and I don't know. I mean, it's just strange to me, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it's just all you see online is extremes.
Right.
Like the people in the middle aren't really that active. It's the people who
Yeah.
are extreme who are just
But
the
are you
loudest.
just talking about Twitter, or are you talking about all social
All
media?
of them. All this
Really?
like when I go on Reddit, I feel like it's like sometimes it's very doomsy.
Well, of course, it's Reddit. What are you, what are you talking
I
about?
know.
That's like
I
when
know,
I go
but
into
even
the dark
fun
web, it
subreddits.
takes a turn. Yes, there's
Can I just say, even the pornography I watch is it's very doomsday. It's always like, let's do it. What's the point? We'll be dead soon. And then, wong chunka, wonka, wonka, wong chunka.
Yeah.
you look tense.
Wong Chunka.
Wong Chunka, that's your porn music?
I thought it was shaka bow bow.
Well, listen, I like to score my own pornography. Wong chunka, wonka, chunka, wong chunka.
Everybody Wong Chunka
What is
tonight.
Everybody, wong
Wong
chunka.
Chunka tonight.
You listen on mute and then you do the music for it?
Yeah.
What the?
What a turn on.
I like to mute the porn and then put my own music in.
And voices.
La 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 la.
And sound effects.
I've just never,
here I go.
I've never heard one chaka. I've just never.
Wong chunka, chunka,
Yeah.
chunka.
It's.
I
It's
I was
thought it
thinking
was
more
a
of
kind
like that's like a Beretta episode.
It's
out of the
I thought it
70s
was
police.
agreed upon that it was shaka bow bow.
I thought it was.
Ooh,
When
nice.
was the last time you guys watched porn? None of this is-
1977. It's in the book.
Yeah, that was the summer of porn. We were all, except during the blackout,
Yeah.
when suddenly all the porn went dark.
That's the black.
No, when Elvis passed, we all had to do something to recover. So we
I
watched
was
porn.
4 years old.
And of course, that porn went wong chunka wonka chunka wong chunka. I'm telling you, this is all true. It's all in the book.
There's
the
no
porn
there's
music?
there's no porn in the book.
No,
What
there's
is
no
the
porn.
new
There is
porn
no
music?
porn in
No,
the
what's
book. Don't
your
worry.
like? If you were to do porn music, what would it be?
It wouldn't be. There would be no music. It's just the squishing sounds.
Okay.
Oh God.
All right.
It's like
What are they making latkes before they have sex?
it's the squishing sound.
First, this is not a squishing
No,
sound.
that's a clapping sound.
I know I can't squish with my hand
You're trying to-
properly.
Okay.
All
okay.
right,
Yeah,
there
it's
we
like
go.
that. That's
We have
like
a
it.
respected newsman here.
I know.
And
what's going on?
people rely on him
Somebody
to
stepped on
find
a
out
great.
what's happening. And this is what you do with it, Sona?
I
You
didn't
do
take
this?
us down this road.
Well, Gourley and I put beautiful music
Yeah.
to the pornography, and then you come along with your physical sounds,
Your
which are
squishy
disgusting.
noise.
Apparently, you and your husband high-five each other during sex.
Because it's a
New one.
squishing sound. That's just like a.
Trying
We
to-
did it!
The Clippers scored another hit. Listen to that crowd squish.
Your babies are good, though. You said.
You, come on. Why do you have to go to my babies for
You just
porn?
because all of a sudden we were talking about you having sex. So like
Oh God, yeah, they're good. They're gonna be
the
two.
only time, yes, you had babies.
Yes,
that's
I
what I
did.
know. And last time I did this podcast, you were about to have twins.
And you suggested I name them Leopold and Loeb.
which is a
That's right.
fantastic
Yeah.
idea.
That's great.
I think Leopold and Loeb is the perfect name for
Yeah,
them.
or Eric and Lyle.
There's so many.
Eric
So
and
many-
Lyle's a good one.
There are so many killing duos.
Sacco and Vanzetti.
Sacco and Vanzetti. Well, were they guilty? We don't know.
Oh.
Right. Fat Man and Little Boy.
Yeah. Oh my,
No,
oh my
the-
God.
Oh wow.
Those
my
are, Those are the
God.
nuclear bombs we
Yes,
dropped.
yes, they are. That's right. That's right.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if I'm just saying, if one of her kids were a little chubbier than the other one, that could be
Well,
Fat Man
are-
and Little Boy.
Yeah, one's a little thicker.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go. There you
Oh,
go.
that's great. He's probably listening right now, and a single tear is going down his cheek.
Yeah, he's listening to
Mama thinks I'm chunky. You were invited to a huge celebrity wedding,
I know.
and you don't know why.
I do know why. I think I was just so flattered and excited and honored that it kind of didn't make sense.
Well, tell the story.
All right.
And start at the beginning where you're in your bed, corn crib, whatever.
See, you were so close.
it was
Honestly,
You were in your normal bed
Thank
All
you.
right.
that a
Thank you.
person in the 21st century would have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
And you got the covers pulled up, and you are waking up
Yes.
outside.
Oh,
There
come
it
on.
is.
Come on.
Wait a minute, that's
There
not.
it is.
A lot of people have chickens now and
Really?
roosters. Yes, they do.
No.
Let's take a poll. I don't.
I don't.
I don't.
I don't. I guess I win. That's my point. My point is we don't, but we are in a bubble. Most people out there have chickens.
But you specifically...
And you wake up.
Eat my slop.
Thank you. Eat your slop. Then it's out to the North 40 and you get to work. No, anyway, please tell us.
I'll walk you through it. Yes.
Tell us about the celebrity wedding. 'Cause
Okay.
This is a big one.
Okay, so here's how it all began. The year was 2009. 30 Rock was going. Alec Baldwin was hosting SNL on February 14th, 2009. The musical guest were the Jonas
Oh,
Brothers.
for God's sake. Oh, okay. I see where you're going now. For a minute, I didn't know where this was all going.
You were already fresh. Let him tell his
You told
story.
him
Well, I thought he was
Take you
going to.
through from
It's like he
beginning
was
to end.
testifying and he was giving dates, and I got
No,
nervous.
I want to hear the story.
All right, I don't want to ruin it because I think it was a beginner. Take us from the beginning and go.
I literally was.
I know. I
He's doing the
apologize.
thing you asked.
I apologize.
And you stopped him to tell him to do the
Well,
thing
he
you
started
asked.
giving dates. I don't want dates, but anyway, go ahead.
You do dates all the time.
Please.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So anyways, the musical guests were the Jonas Brothers. Alec had me come on and do a little cameo during his opening monologue. So of course I was thrilled to do that. I was like, absolutely. But during the course of the rehearsals and the performances and stuff, just hanging out, I got to know the Jonas Brothers. Delightful individuals, all three of them. And so that was in 2009, and like they were babies back then. And so it's not like I was like, hey, let's exchange information and be friends forever. But during the course of years, our paths crossed again. I saw them at a different SNL when Tracy Morgan was hosting. I was staying in a hotel in Toronto that Nick Jonas happened to be at. And then here in Los Angeles, I'm neighbors with a very talented actor named Glenn Powell. He was just in the Top Gun movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's the
So many
best.
attractive men in this story.
So Glenn and Nick Jonas had worked together on Scream Queens, which I think was either Fox or FX.
Yeah.
And so Glenn is just such a lovely host. He would have game nights, movie nights, hangout nights. And so Nick Jonas would come to those parties. I was their neighbor, so I would come over. Again, I'm 1,000 years older than any of these children. So I'd be like, quiet down now. And just as a side note, Nick Jonas happens to be a big fan of the movie They Came Together that I was in. I mean, I have to admit, I haven't even seen the movie, but he was such a big fan, Glenn would invite me over, and then Nick would ask me all these questions about the movie that I simply didn't have the answers to.
So I'm going to catch us up. You became tight with some of the Jonas Brothers.
Am I taking too long?
A little bit.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, stop it.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get us down the road a little bit.
I want to hear more about Glenn Powell and stuff too. Let's just stop
Let the man
butting
go on his
in.
journey.
Ask me the question.
Yeah, sorry. We're sorry about him.
Yeah, we're sorry.
We only have so much tape in the machine.
Stop. There is
Then
no
you
tape.
stop talking. Let me talk. This is the worst day of my life. Okay, so at this time, Nick Jonas is dating Priyanka. Priyanka Chopra, lovely, very talented actress. And so Nick would have these fun activities with Priyanka, but want to introduce some of his friends to her. So, like, we went on a beautiful yacht ride over Memorial
just the
Day
three of
weekend. No, it was Glenn Powell, that whole crowd again.
You were on a
fun.
yacht with Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah.
You on a yacht. It's just fantastic. This is...
Are you making fun of me?
I'm not making fun of you. I think the idea of me on a yacht is absurd. I've never been on a yacht.
I mean, there's a great many things in my life that I'm like, this is crazy. The
Right.
Mariah Carey video, getting eventually invited to Nick and Priyanka's wedding.
Okay, well, you jumped to that.
India.
So this is
In
the...
India?
This is...
In India.
This is the thing I was trying to get you to some 40 minutes ago.
Oh, come on.
no,
You
it's...
No,
Slap
it's his podcast. He's yammering on all this time, and then gets mad when somebody else talks.
Oh, snap.
Wow, finally.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying it like it is.
Okay, so tell the story of you getting invited to a wedding in India. Not any wedding. Nick Jonas, Priyanka Chopra.
just
This is
heard it.
amazing. No, but now I want to hear about the wedding.
Okay. So here's the thing.
I mean, this is a great story, but let's really get to the meat of it.
So I get invited to this wedding in India. Have I ever been to India? No. I don't even know.
Did you think it was Indiana at first? Be honest.
Can you leave the room?
Eduardo, let's cut his mic. Let's cut his mic.
They've cut my mic.
Cut his vocal cords.
Okay, so you get invited. Go. I'm sorry. I swear to God, I'll shut up until we get through the wedding. Go.
So I was so honored. It was bonkers. I was like, yes. If you're being serious, yes. And so I had, a mutual friend help me figure out how to book that flight. Now, have you ever been to an Indian wedding?
I have not.
If you ever get invited to an Indian wedding, say yes.
Isn't it days long?
It's a week long, and it's amazing.
Wow.
It's like there's so many different events, and there's so many different wardrobe changes. Like, it's bonkers, and it is fun. And it's just beautiful and musical and like colors everywhere. It was really, really fantastic.
So you flew all the way to India.
I flew to India.
Which city?
Jaipur.
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 Sona and I have been to Jaipur.
We have.
It was beautiful, and it was so fun, and it was like nothing I had ever. It was like a royal wedding, I guess. I'd never been to one, but it was wild. And like, I'm still friends with all of Priyanka's cousins, and I know all the North Carolina family on the Jonas side. It was fun. Wow.
So
it was really great.
You were there for several days.
Yeah.
And you have to wear special costumes, right?
Yeah. And like within a day, you have to like change over and stuff.
Can I ask you a question? This is a little. Did you pay for the costumes?
Oh yeah.
You did.
Yes, sir.
Because I know that you are somewhat frugal. Okay. Is that fair to say?
I guess. Where's this going?
No, I just wondering if you thought it was an imposition.
Make homemade clothes for this?
If there's a way do you know what I mean? You are a frugal man. When they said to you, you're going to have to buy 6 outfits and have them made for you, there was no hesitation at all?
No. And here's what else. I did flight there on with miles. And so I only paid $300 to get over there, like in business class.
Ooh.
I love that I whisper in front of
They
You whispered into a microphone. No one can know.
Do they tell you what kind of clothes you'll need for each event?
Yes, they were very, very helpful for all of this. So they actually hooked us up with a company that specializes in the clothes that you'd wear for the certain ceremonies. And, each one had different meanings, and it was like nothing else I had ever seen. And they made it very user-friendly and welcoming, and it was awesome. Now I have to call these people and say, hey, I talked about y'all's wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. You said only nice things. It's not like you said anything untoward. And
untoward.
Well, I think he acquitted himself well.
I think it's a rave review. Yeah,
it's a rave review of a beautiful wedding.
People. It was like nothing I had ever experienced before.
Hi, I'm Goldie Hawn, and I feel really excited about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
Well, that's really nice. That makes me happy. I'm going to tell you something. I have been such a huge fan of yours for so long, and all these years I did the late night show, you were one of the few people. I don't think you were on the show. It never lined up exactly, so I never got to meet you that way. And then when I came out to Los Angeles and I saw you, I was a little freaked out in a nice way. And your security team told me to stay away because they had read the letters. And but I think I saw you and Kurt at something. And I know it's not just me because I want to say about 2 years ago, because we live in the same neighborhood, I'm running. I'm jogging because you don't just get a body like mine.
I was going to say, that means you can still see your belly button?
No, I haven't seen that thing in years. I'm not sure I even have one. But I'm running, and I'm running with a friend of mine who's out here, and he runs with tons of people. He's met everybody. I've never seen him get phased. It's my friend Jim Lubinsky. And we're running, and I hear of someone say, hey! And I look over, and it's you, and you're walking with a friend. You're not too far from where we all live.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop and you chat with me a little bit, and I introduce my friend Jim, and then we keep running. And he's like, fuck, that was Goldie Hawn. And I'm running, and I'm out of breath, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah, it's great. And we're running for a bit, and he's not saying anything. He goes, I mean, Jesus, that was Goldie Hawn. And I went, yeah. I mean, he meets everybody, but it was so nice. And I swear to God, we ran for like 45 minutes. And he kept revisiting it. And eventually I was like, I don't know what else to tell you. But yes, she's a real person who exists. But I'm just absolutely thrilled. And everyone here in the building is on crazy behavior today.
That's so great.
No, it's really nice. It's nice to see. They don't get that way about a lot of people. Erica Brown downstairs was like, Goldie Hawn's coming in today. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm here too.
No.
Doesn't care.
Nobody cares.
I'm not an icon, but thrilled to have you here.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And also, I have a thing that when I don't know people well, but I know their kids, I can tell a lot about them by the way their kids behave.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Kate and Wyatt. I know Kate pretty well, and I've got to know Wyatt a little bit. And they're both lovely people. And to me, I always go to that and then say, oh, there's some good parenting in here. They're very nice people.
They're really nice people.
And I've talked to them both, and I get the sense that you and Kurt, it was not, hey, we're in Beverly Hills, or we're on the West Side and we're stars and you're the kids of stars. There was none of that shit going on.
No, none of it. Kurt and I are very similar in terms of that, because whatever happens to your career, you just do the best you can. I mean, it wasn't about wanting to be anything except good at what we did. And we felt that it was our job, right? But when we came home from wherever, we're just a normal family. And I used to say to my dad, it was when I was more single, but I had the 2 kids, and we'd have coffee together in my house in the morning. He'd come over and we'd sit there. And I said, Daddy, I just want to have a normal life. And this was right after Private Benjamin.
Yeah.
And I just want to be normal. That's all I want, And he said, well, go, you're not normal. I said, wait a minute.
This is a good father.
This is not the answer I wanted, okay?
My father told me that when I was 4. He was right. Yeah. No, hey, we all know.
It was like, get with it. But it's really about the focus. And, when I met Kurt for the first time, well, we were
You guys met for the first time a long time earlier.
Yes.
You didn't go out or anything. You met on a project.
Well, I mean, we're talking about what happens. What is life? What are the things we don't understand?
Right.
Which is what I'm more interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we can't see, the questions of kind of things of why did that happen? Are there coincidences? Are we on this wild grid somewhere that, this is our karma, this is our plan? We don't know. And I've got a million of those things that happened to me. And one of them was Kurt, because I was 21, I was a dancer, and I went to an open audition at Disney Studios to dance in a movie, right? And I thought, oh, this will be so fun. So I went there, and there was this woman sitting on a bench, and she was lovely, nice woman, blonde. And I went up to her because I was on Dopey Drive, but I didn't know where I was. I mean, I knew it was Dopey Drive. I was the dopey because I didn't know where I was going. So now I asked her, I said, do you know where the audition is, for this? And it was like stage something.
Yeah. And
she said, I'll take you there. So she took me there. And then, of course, we did the audition. And I'm auditioning to be in the chorus, basically. And so with that, it turned out to be that she went back home and she told everybody that basically I saw the girl who's going to get the part. The reason I know that is because that was Kurt's mother.
Oh.
So I met Kurt's mother before I met Kurt.
Right.
And so I got the part.
Oh.
And I'm trying to think, what part? Okay, I got the part. The other weird thing is that I got this part. Of course, I got the script. I looked through it. I had no lines. I was just the head dancer, right?
Right.
But you know what my name was? the giggly girl. And I swear, if anybody would have said that was where I was going to end up being known for,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was just like weird. And then at that particular movie, which is a side story.
What's my motivation here as Giggly Girl?
Exactly.
What's my story and my art?
So Kurt and I actually danced together separately of the same show, which was like, it was a number we had to do, and it was the hornpipe and a thing, and skip to my thing, blah, blah, blah. And we both still remember part of the choreography, right? But I didn't really notice him, except he was a handsome young guy. He was 16, okay? And I'm 21, so that's never was, I mean, just forget it. But then I went to the producer who asked me to come to his, after we finished, and he said, look, we have to do the billing. And he said, we can't really use your name, because Goldie sounds like a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, Goldie is my name. And not only that, it belonged to an amazing woman, and I'm honored to have it, and I will never change it. I was 21 years old talking to the head of the Disney. And
Good for you, though. It's impressive.
But sometimes I still can't remember how bold I was.
Right.
But anyway, I said, if you want to bill me, my middle name is Jean. So why don't you bill me as Goldie Jean Hawn? And that might, make you feel happier. But I will never, in my mother's name and anything ever, change my name. Then I met him again years ago.
Years later,
Oh.
you guys meet again, but everything's changed. Very different circumstances.
Yeah, and I was with some other guy. That was the one thing. We weren't doing well. But anyway.
You and the other guy weren't doing well.
So anyway, I was producing Swing Shift.
Mm-hmm.
And Swing Shift, is a film that I was producing for Warner Brothers. And I'm meeting all these guys. I met Kevin Costner and a few other guys that for the role of Lucky. And then Kurt came in. And I looked at him, and he looked like he'd been up all night long. I mean, he was also...
He may have been. Knowing Kurt a little bit, he may have been.
And I looked at him, I thought, what have you been? Well, he was going through a divorce, and he was with his dad, and they were drinking and whatever. So I learned about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that meeting was over, he didn't really want to read. He just came off Silkwood. And he didn't want to read, just wanted to meet me. So we ended up talking, and everybody that I knew ended up being one of our shared people that we love. One was his brother-in-law, and another one was another guy, Jimmy Van Wyck. And they were all in the movie, okay? But it turns out that I met him at lunch, and I was very attracted to him. I had another, he was a French boyfriend. And
I like how everyone has very simple, you're Giggly Girl, then there's French boyfriend. No one's got a real name in any of your stories. There's that guy, and it wasn't going well with that guy.
Anyway, I'm just cutting to the chase. But anyway, so we went out to lunch at this one little restaurant in France, on Ventura Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat together. It was really great. And then when he left, because I was there with the producer and everything, he left, but he turned around. It was so romantic. He turned around and said across the room, it's okay if I don't get this part, but I sure would like to see you again.
Oh, wow.
And
in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, he's not shy.
No.
But that was really interesting. But what really caught me was that he came over to my place at the beach. I had my two little children there. I had Oliver and Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Katie was about 4,
Mm-hmm.
just going on, and Oliver was 6. He went over to the bedroom where they were sleeping, and he looked for a long time at Katie sleeping. And then he went over and he looked at Oliver. Long time. And I watched him and I thought, you're amazing. He is a family man.
Mm-hmm.
He in depth looked at them, stared at them, felt them. And then we went in the other room and we talked. And then we went to work. And when my children visited me on the set, I can't explain it, but he was the one for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't just because he was sexy and handsome and all those things you get turned on by. It was because he matched my devotion to children to be number one.
Yeah.
And that's where I watched him at the bar, because we were playing, it was our location. And I had them in his lap and talking to them and so forth. So the seduction was really his personality and his focus on the children. And, I wrote in my diary when I actually was getting a divorce and alone with the children. I wrote in my diary, and I was crying. And I wrote, I wonder if I'll ever find someone that will love my children the way I do. Mm. And it happened. It happened. So the stick and glue of our relationship, because we don't agree on everything. His politics are different than mine. Mm-hmm. There's all these things that could divide you. But the one thing that we have, the greatest thing in God's world, is our family. And that is where we thrive. It's where we have incredible amounts of joy. And really focus on that. And every child that we had is healthy. They're happy. And you know what I'm doing now with children? I want them to feel happiness, togetherness. I just went over to see my daughter-in-law. We just had a new grandchild.
Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic.
That's the 8th one. And it was great. But they all moved around us together. So Wyatt moved right on the street he was born on.
Yeah. Katie
lives on the same street now. I live up above, not 6 blocks away. Oliver's down the road, and Boston, who is my stepson, who is very much, I call my son. He's the greatest ever. He lives up the road. Today I just was able to stop over to Wyatt's house and see my new grandchild and hold and do and be together. What can be better than that? Making a movie?
Yeah. I'm saying yes. I think a movie's better.
No.
Did I miss?
No,
did I miss?
no.
Did you
listen to anything?
Did I miss the point of what Goldie's saying? Because you get money when you make the movie.
Oh boy.
Well,
I'm sorry, but
listen,
am I the only one here who's saying make the movie?
No.
Get someone to get an agent can look after the kids.
Exactly.
There's so much to talk about in your film work, but I remember when you came on my late night program for Selma for your brilliant portrayal of Martin Luther King Jr. And I remember we were talking about it and then realizing later on that you had been kind of method when you did that role, meaning that you really wanted to inhabit, which you did so brilliantly. And I think there's no more difficult task we're talking about you playing these Shakespearean figures. If you're playing someone from distant history, you can interpret, but when you're playing someone who lived concurrently with our times, died in 1968, and there's all this footage, you need to create your interpretation, but it also needs to ring true to all of us. And I thought you did that beautifully.
Thank you.
It was, you really felt like you had to inhabit him all the time and be in character. How long did you do that for?
It was 3 months of the shoot, and as you can tell, I have an English accent. We were shooting in Atlanta, and the worst thing about being an actor, especially playing that kind of role, is imposter syndrome. You go, well, I am not him, obviously,
right.
But you have all these people daily who you feel the need to convince you are him. But the worst thing you can do, I think, as an actor is to be playing that room in a sense, as opposed to the film, which is what people are ultimately going to see. So if I'm having to convince the crew, the extras, my fellow actors, moment to moment, that's too many things. It's already, the margins for error are already what they are. So the way to take that out of the equation, I think, is for people to, by and large, just go, oh, that's not Dr. King, but that's David's version of Dr. King moving around the set. So it's not and roll, camera, action, and it's like a switch. It's too much to kind of be constantly doing.
No, for you to be at
switch.
the craft service table joking around with the crew,
right?
And then, put down that pretzel and it's time to.
Right,
we're going to be Dr.
Right.
Martin Luther King now.
Yeah,
it seems like that would be impossible.
It's also, I had so many speeches, whether it be in a church, at a rally, or whatever, and there were people there because of the locations we were shooting who had been at marches with Dr. King, who had been in churches with Dr. King. I mean, John Lewis visited the set one day and decided to stay for one of my speeches. I was like, dude,
please don't.
That really doesn't help me at all. You're lovely and I love you. Please leave.
And anytime you do any gesture, I can just picture John Lewis. Nope. Wrong.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. He was lactose intolerant. Didn't like almonds either. Put the almonds down.
Gosh.
It's too much.
It's literally too much. And so the way I oxidize that is to just kind of be in what I would call King light, where it's always there so that the extras aren't suddenly going, oh, look at that trick he's doing. You're trying to not act is the reality. And the best way to do that is to just be. And so if I'm being all the time, then hopefully that's what the camera's catching.
People don't realize that this is, for people in your life, friends, I would think, especially family.
Yeah.
If you're trying to maintain a certain persona or inhabit a character for 3 months, okay, that's one thing on the set, but what happens when you go home?
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, particularly for my wife. At the time we were doing Selma, we had also just moved into a new home, and I remember her calling me to discuss curtain colors, and I literally went, "Well, I think the gray," and she went, "Okay, stop. I am not discussing curtains with Dr. King. I draw the line there. We will pick this up after the film. Thank you very much." The other awful thing is,
I have a dream of Venetian blind.
I know. She was like, stop. Time out.
Did you ever ask her to call back as his wife?
I should have done that. I should have done that. No, but what also happened was I put on about 40 pounds to play Dr. King. And, he had, or I should say I had as him, what, can only be described as man boobs. And my wife was incredibly tolerant of this. I had, I wasn't in the shape I normally pride myself on being in. And the day that this thing wrapped, she came up to me, jiggled my man boobs, and said, "So what are we doing? What are we doing?" I was like, "Oh my Lord." Like, give me a second. I mean,
what are we doing here?
What are we doing? What are we doing with this?
Speed bag.
Literally.
Come on.
Literally.
Oh, come on.
Speed bag.
Yeah, but they would have been very good speed bags. But yeah, I was like, okay, I guess my grace period is over.
I will say this though for you, David. At least you had that excuse, because I step out of the shower and I can't say, no, I'm playing Orson Welles at the end of his life.
Right. Right.
Or my skin has been artificially freckled in a most horrifying way because I'm playing a striped bass in a movie. There's no way for me to go. It's like, I'm going to play Conan in the Conan story. There's no...
You're just stuck.
I'm stuck.
You're stuck.
There is nowhere else to go.
Well, anyway, David, you're here because we have a question that may be of interest to you. Hi, Mike and Jesse. What's the story behind the remote Conan trains his successor? How did David Hopping get picked for this segment? And more importantly, which writer was responsible for it? Anyway, I love the podcast. Lourdes.
Do you remember doing that remote?
I do.
Oh, good.
It's all gone. You were the writer for that, right?
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A happy ending.
But I'm glad
to
that
this
you're here
question.
because I don't remember a lot of it.
I don't remember how I got picked. I remember you telling me I was picked, but I don't know how I got picked.
Well, to be honest, I think I pitched it more broadly than that. I pitched it just as Conan training a successor.
Okay.
Like he was going to leave the empire to somebody and needed to have somebody that
So you
was
pitched.
going to take
it was
over.
your idea.
Yeah, it
I
was
love
my
it.
idea.
That's great.
But I didn't say specifically who the person would be.
Uh-huh.
And somehow in the writers' room, we talked, and you became the guy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was just like we knew you were good already being on camera, and that you and Conan had kind of a funny rapport.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? This speaks very well of you, David, because if the writers together in a room are like zeroed in on you, that means, I think, don't you agree? Like in everyone's exposure to David, they're like, oh, you know what? He's a cool guy. He'd be good on camera.
For sure. Yeah. Because we knew that you weren't going to get too hammy, that you were going to kind
Right.
of be able to be yourself.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Throughout it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we just thought it was a funny, I don't know, that like, because you're so game for everything, you just kind of like say yes.
Yeah.
And so we knew Conan would enjoy telling you what to do.
Yeah.
And that you would probably say yes.
The whole thing was just to repeat after Conan.
Yeah.
We're going to go in and talk to the writers now. They're meeting. Okay. The way I usually do it is I kick open the door.
Okay.
And make a lot of kind of silly, over-the-top jokes about how horrible the writing's been lately, even when it's been good.
Okay. Hey! Your ideas are so bad.
Hey, turd skulls.
Hey,
Last
turd
time
skulls.
I saw shit piled up this high, I was in a barnyard.
Last time I saw shit piled up this high, I was in a barnyard.
I always leave the room on a huge laugh, so take care of that.
So long, you pieces of shit.
And you're very all-American. I mean, you're from Illinois.
Right.
Yeah.
The Carbondale area.
Carlinville.
God damn it.
Oh.
Isn't it near? Just tell me it's near.
It's like
Carbondale.
3 hours away. I think maybe. It's so close. It's so
it's a
close.
different state.
It's so close to each other.
Well, anyway, I know nothing about you.
Well, and
But-
another writer worked on this too, Levi McDougall.
Yes.
And I just vaguely remember us filming that day. We had to put you in a Conan wig.
The wig, yeah.
So that was kind of, you had to go into like extensive hair and makeup.
So extensive. No, I remember going down and they just put like some glue and then just basically stuck it
Slapped
on.
it on. Okay.
They glued it. You got extra special. They went the distance with you. And can I ask you guys, what was Conan, while you were shooting it, was Conan like, was part of him like, oh, someone to replace me, eh? Or
I think he wasn't too threatened.
I
by
think I was
David.
so nervous the whole time that there was no threat.
Oh, you didn't seem nervous at all.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's
you're
nice of you to
nervous.
say.
No, but seriously, I love hearing that.
Well, one thing I didn't remember, but when I was going back through old emails, there was actually, so the first segment went well. We basically got you dressed up and you did some monologue jokes and learned the string dance.
Yes.
Did you learn the nipple touch?
No.
No, okay.
No,
That's proprietary.
That one was too far, I guess.
Too advanced.
I wasn't prepared for that one.
But we were supposed to do a second installment of this.
Oh, yeah.
Where you were learning how to interview a celebrity.
Oh.
And we had reached out, and I know Paula Davis, our booker, had reached out to Mayim Bialik.
Oh, yeah.
And so you and Conan were going to interview her together.
I forgot about that.
I know. And then it never ended up
I
happening.
think one of the travel shows came up.
Oh, maybe that's what it
I
was.
think.
That's a shame.
It is
It's
a
just one of those
shame.
things that never got done.
Yeah. Just go back on TBS real quick. We'll just do it again.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep that in the can. If we ever come back, that's the first thing
We
I'm
have a
pitching.
surprise for you. Here's my
So one thing that I can't believe
Mm-hmm.
when I look back on this was you weren't even Conan's assistant at that time. You were a PA on the show.
Yeah.
What was your title?
I was personal PA for Conan and Jeff. So
Okay.
I reported to Sona.
Okay, so you were Sona's assistant. Yeah. And so how much interaction had you actually had with Conan?
I had quite a bit. Like from
Okay.
day one, I remember Sona brought me in and wanted me to get to know Conan like right off the bat because
Mhm.
I mean I was immediately like running his personal errands and stuff like that.
Yeah, cleaning his underwear.
Exactly. Just normal things that you go to college to learn.
So you already kind of had a shtick with Conan. Was he
Yeah.
already making fun of you for things?
Oh,
yeah, of
right
course.
away. Yeah. Mhm.
What was his? What was he getting you for? Like, what was his?
What was his thing with you?
Thing with you?
I mean,
yeah.
being from a small town, I think is the
yeah.
in the Midwest
Mhm.
is like the number one
Okay.
thing that is still stuck around.
Yeah. Oh well, once it's locked in,
It's never leaving.
It's never leaving.
Oh my gosh, this is just making me remember. Was there something in like your hometown paper about this?
With front page.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I still have it framed in my apartment.
That's fantastic.
After this remote aired, that ran in your paper.
Yeah, they reached out and like did like an interview with me.
They
I
reached out. You
love
didn't call them. Guys, do I have a scoop for you? Hometown boy makes good. So they
that's
reached
so
out.
sweet.
They reached out. They did like an interview. Conan and I took a picture and sent it
that's
to
great.
him. And yeah,
Wow. So people back home, you won essentially.
That day I did.
Yeah. Have you gone back for a high school reunion?
no, they did a 5-year reunion, but I missed it because I was here.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
'Cause it
And
was
then
yesterday.
the 10-year got canceled because of COVID. So
All right.
15 will be my time.
Okay. Well, you're gonna go back.
Don't feel you need to go to any high school reunions.
But if you've been Conan's successor,
Either way, either way, you're going to be like, no one will give you the satisfaction.
okay. Well, we disagree.
I want to hear
this.
about what happened at your high school
Well,
reunion.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, whatever you assume, it's true.
Oh,
No, it's fine.
I mean, in a weird way, though, you do. I mean, because now you are Conan's assistant, and you know what he does almost better than anybody else. In a way, you really are most equipped to become his successor.
I guess so.
You know where all his wills are, probably.
I know. I mean, once I got the banking info, I knew I knew I was in.
Oh my
Wow.
God,
Mhm.
that's
How do we
big.
get in?
We'll talk later.
Okay. Why talk later?
So his credit card number is.
Yes. We also need the expiration and the security number, of course.
And the billing zip code of, yeah.
The billing zip code,
Mhm.
yes.
It's very interesting because I don't know what your experience was, but I can't talk to many people about this. My experience was I was so glad I got to do it. I loved it, every second of it. Not every second, but I loved a lot of it. And then when it was over, there hasn't been a moment where I've thought, gee, I wish I could be doing that, a late night show again.
Exactly the same.
Because I think I get one life. There's so much to try. There's so much to do. Did that. And so how do you feel?
Exactly the same. I haven't. The only thing I miss really is being part of a gang, like going and sitting with sitting with people who I am every day would be blown away by how funny they are. I just could not, like, that's what I really miss. Sitting with Ian and Lauren and Cece and Sean and they, like, I just sitting with these people.
That was your mistake. You had funny writers.
My God, did I ever?
I only
mean,
hired absolute terrible people.
The worst.
Right, Sona? The
They
worst.
were awful.
Yeah.
And
so
many of them are in this building.
Oh, they're still
listening.
here. They're still. Oh, yeah, yeah. But they're not smart enough to figure out how to get into this room.
Okay.
So I'm safe. No, but I know what you mean.
I miss that. I miss the idea of having like an idea in the morning and being like, yeah, let's do it tonight. Like, I remember that, that's what I miss. I certainly don't miss walking out of a curtain and being like, let's have a look and see who's on the show tonight. I don't miss going, stick around, we'll be right back. I don't miss any of the actual doing of the show. I would go so far as to say I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
The thing I think about is
the people.
Yeah, like I remember the day after the Oscars when the Will Smith Chris Rock thing happened. Like this was a sort of real example of how our show used to work, where it was like, okay, everybody's going to be talking about that. Everybody's going to be talking about that moment. What's our show's version of that? How do we do that? And it's ticking down. It's now midday. And you're like, okay, we tape at 5. Okay, we're probably just going to do some jokes about it. And we haven't come up with a good idea. And then, you know, one of our writers goes, I think it was Molly who worked on the show, just goes, I've got this written down. I don't have any more than this, but we don't talk about Jada because we don't talk about Bruno was the big song of that year. We don't talk about Jada, and everyone goes, oh, that's it. Okay, great. So now we need to write the song. So Molly, why don't you go with Dave and with Lawrence, and then, okay,
right,
probably need dancers, but hang on, we need dancers who've been COVID tested. And then someone's like, we've just found out there's a Steadicam operator in the building doing a thing for, I don't know whether it was like Dancing with the Stars or whatever. He's COVID tested. He can be here at 6, but we'll have to tape it after. Okay, that's probably a positive. And then it's like, are we going to sing it live? And then that's the thing.
That's the stuff.
And then you're kind of feeding it almost live down the line to be on the East Coast at 9:30 because an idea that happened at midday. And then you get the thrill of the next day. X amount of million people have watched it on YouTube and you go, that was great. And then the absolute horror of going, oh, fuck, what are we going to do tonight?
Yeah. Did anyone slap anyone last night? I love that. I completely understand. I absolutely loved working with talented, funny people and having the gang aspect of it. And oh, damn it, we just thought of this. We got to throw it together. But the other thing I've missed, and I've mentioned this a couple of times recently, but having a live band as a regular part of my life gave me so much joy. And I realized that it's not so much the show that I miss anymore, but if I could get my band to play when I come down in the morning to get my coffee, and then it's like, well, breakfast was great. We'll take a break. I just loved the power of that. And also being around so much live music all those years.
We've just missed your birthday, right?
Yeah.
I think this is what I would say to the team here. It's unlikely that I'll be here, but I would say for Conan's birthday next year, you should get him a band from
sounds like
when he wakes up in the morning. No, but if you have it from when he won't miss it if
How
they're
about
in
a card.
All right, I'll do this. It's fine.
James,
I thought this was a different environment.
James, this is what
you
we're working.
really do need a friend.
That's why I'm not fucking around with the title of that. I need a friend because this is what I get.
Jeez.
A card. And guess what? It won't even be, it will be like a congratulations on your bris card. It won't even be for my birthday.
Yeah, it'll be one we find
You'll
in a
just
drawer.
grabbed it.
Yeah.
But that's fascinating to me that there are little elements you can miss. But I think when it's time to let's go and do the next thing.
I knew for quite a while. I was gonna leave at year 5. I was real close. Like I genuinely had like one foot out the door, and then I'm very, very pleased that I chose to stay because I think then, if I'd left then, I think it would have been way too soon, and I would have thought, what did you leave for? You were just reaping the rewards of it being good, getting good guests, all that stuff.
Yep.
But I really felt like so many things changed from when we started the show. It was like Obama was the president.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was then it was Trump, and then it felt like it changed. And somehow, if you didn't do a deeply political monologue, you were somehow complicit with the Trump organization,
right?
Which I didn't quite understand, not being from here. And then it was COVID. So then, like, you're doing a show in your garage, and you're like, well, you're just trying to keep as many of the team in work as you can, and
Yes.
trying to find, you know, jobs and everything for people and stuff like that. And so I was like, this isn't. Okay, it's time to go now. It's time to move away from this. And again, I will always be dumbfounded that it was something I was able to do. That it was something I was even given the opportunity to do. I thought it was a stupid thing to give me the job, or mystifying to give me the job. A year in, I was like, oh, was so stupid. Just some guy from a play. Like, I didn't do a pilot, I didn't do a test, it was just nuts. I had some days where I thought, I think they've hired me to end the franchise.
Well, what I went through, which I do not believe you experienced, was a year into my gig, I could read in the paper, it was a big mistake to give this guy the job. Signed, Conan's dad. That's the twist ending. But it was... But like I say, you can always remake your own reality if you just, like I say, put your stamp on it.
Well, I think I was so certain that it wasn't going to work. I was I was going to work harder than I'd ever worked hard. I was going to do everything I could to make it a success. But I was saying to my wife, like, we will be home within a year.
Yeah.
Like, we rented furniture.
Yeah.
Like, all of our furniture in our first rental, on which me and Conan used to live on the same road.
You lived right up the street from me, and we realized that. So you came over to my house because I was not going to sit on rental furniture.
Correct. Well, I would have been embarrassed if you.
I was a real prick about it. I said, you said, please come in, and I said, if that looks like rental furniture, I will not come in.
Correct. Well, then you were right, because I would drive past your house, and it was only when I was driving past your house and I had to fill up with gas halfway through the hedgeways of your road. I was like, wow, this is quite the property.
I bought 7 homes. And I had them all stitched together.
Yeah.
And it's hideous, but it was pure ego. Just pure ego. But
it's a beautiful house. Really, I always used to enjoy because I used to drive past you, and you would be your kids would be getting on the bus to go to school, and I'd be driving mine down to school because they were like, they didn't get on the bus because it was they were much younger, and I'd always enjoy. Sometimes we'd wave, and sometimes you wouldn't see me, and I would really, I genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart. I would say this happened about 6 or 7 times. If you are lucky enough to watch Conan O'Brien hugging his kids and putting them on a bus, you're like, oh man, that's some real dad goals. Because my kids were...
Here's the problem. Those weren't my kids.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it ended badly.
That really...
That's such a nice thing.
Why?
Why did I do that?
No. You really...
That was such a nice thing, and I don't know why I did that.
No, I used to look and I used to think, oh, that is... Genuinely, I know this sounds so silly. I mean it. I used to look and think, oh, that's it. If you can keep a relationship with your kids that long that they want to hug you on a bus before they get on the bus, it's like
true.
That's a great thing, And I'd look at my kid and go, why can't you be like that? No.
Your kid's in the back seat smoking a cigarette.
No, then I'd realize...
Move on, Dad!
Then I'd realize I'd forgotten the kids. And be like, no!
Yeah. So, okay, it's funny, too, because I read an interview where you, I believe you mentioned this David Bowie quote that really resonated with you.
Yeah.
And I'm such a Bowie fan, and because I was lucky enough to be doing my show back when we were able to have him on.
Oh, man.
And do a bit with him. And he was on a couple of times, and he was such a nice man.
Yeah.
Such a lovely man to me, to the point that once I was in some club watching a show and someone tapped me on the shoulder, and it was David Bowie. And he was with Iman, and he was just like, hey, he saw me and he came over and just wanted to say hi. And I thought, he's such a gentleman. He's such a lovely man.
Have you seen the film? Have you seen Moonage Daydream?
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean,
such a lovely man.
I never met David Bowie, but I felt like I was catching up with an old friend when I watched that film. It's like, man.
So what is it he said that spoke to you when you were thinking of moving on?
I mean, I would honestly watch this clip like sometimes multiple times a day, because I was really walking away from was walking away from a contract offer that I was pretty certain I'm never going to earn money like that again. I'm pretty certain that won't come my way again. And he says in this clip, he says you should never try and fulfill other people's expectations. Never try and fulfill other people's expectations. And then he says, and I go so far as to say, if you're comfortable in the area that you're working in, you're working in the wrong area. And if you should always swim a little further out.
Yep.
So the water's at your chin and your feet are just scraping the bottom. And if you feel slightly scared and you feel out of control in it, you're probably in about the right place to do something very interesting. And I just used to watch it all the time and go, no, I am too comfortable here. I think if I stay, it's not that I'd be miserable. I didn't think that in any way. I was very happy doing it. I loved doing it. I loved doing all the people that I was working with. But I was like, if this can't be the last thing I do.
Yeah.
It can't be. I have to go and see I have to go a little further into the water. I have to go a little further into the woods and see what else is there. Safe in the knowledge that it might be nothing. Safe in the knowledge that it might never ever be as big as this again, or as acclaimed or talked about in any of those things. But I'm about to do a play at the Old Vic in London for 8 weeks. I've never in my life felt more scared.
Really?
Than what I'm about to do.
Have you played the Old Vic before?
I've never played at the Old Vic, but it's because it's a really, really serious play. It's a really
The Constituent?
serious, called The Constituent.
Yep.
And I've never been more. When I say I've never been more scared, what I mean is I have woken up in the night, I think for the last 2 weeks, terrified by the notion that I will forget the words. Because I've just never ever done anything like this before.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reason to do it.
Yeah, but it's it's to be able to say, I
ruined the Old Vic.
I was the last person to play the Old Vic.
Shut it down.
Aren't you the one? That's me.
That's me.
Hey, let's do a voicemail. What do you guys say?
Okay.
No, I don't want to.
Okay,
Bye.
Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney.
Hey, let's do a show. We'll do it in the backyard. We'll raise enough money to save the town. Yes, I would like to do a voicemail. I like to hear, like any king, sometimes I like to remove my crown and walk amongst the people.
Okay,
Find out
here we
what they're
go.
really saying.
Hi, my name's Ben. I'm from Ohio. And my question is, it's a little morbid, but there's this new technology or an app where you can scan QR codes on someone's gravestone, and it'll show a glimpse of their life or flashbacks or videos of them or their legacy. So what would your QR code show people once they've scanned it? And while we're at it, what would Jordan Schlansky's look like? Thank you.
Wow, I got to say, Ben, that is a very imaginative question. And I don't find that morbid at all because I'm a morbid person. I spend maybe half my day thinking about my own death and making elaborate plans and rituals. I love that idea. I do think, I've thought about this, that gravestones are going to have screens. They're basically just going to be screens that, and everyone's going to download all the pictures and video from their lives so that when you're walking around in a graveyard, you're actually walking through all these screens and you can look at what that person experienced in their lifetime, their travels, the food they ate. Yes, occasionally a dick pic. But
all right,
Yours is just going to be there airing Samsung TV of all the reruns of your old show.
There won't be traditional gravestones in the future. They'll all be Samsung televisions that, have like a grave shape, and they'll just be wedged in the ground. And people will go to graveyards to really be entertained by what people did in a previous life. And the ultimate weirdness is going to be people shooting themselves who are alive, people taping themselves watching other people's gravestones. So they're spending their lifetime watching a dead person's lifetime.
Right.
Do you see what's going to happen?
Will that show up on their grave TV when they die?
Yes. And then the snake eats its tail, and civilization just becomes inverted, and eventually it disappears. It's a mind blower. But Ben, I'm glad you brought this up because it's quite clear what my QR code's going to be. It's going to lead you to all my greatest hits, everything from my television career. And there's also going to be commercials so that it's monetized.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
So what do you mean, oh no? That's perfect because a grave needs upkeep. My grave will be very heavily visited. I mean, look at how many people go see Elvis. So we're going to need security, upkeep, one of those red velvet ropes. There's going to be concessions. So yes, I'm going to probably do a lot of tie-ins. I'm going to make a lot of deals before I go. And there will be commercials. And that's going to help pay to keep the giant mausoleum looking good.
This very segment could be airing on your gravestone. Do you want to say anything to people that when they hear this right now in their time, will be listening to you at your graveyard?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Matt. Well, I want to say hello. I had a good life. Not crazy about the way I checked out. I still think it was someone in my family who did me in.
Right. For sure.
I mean, breaks just don't fail like that. They were pretty clearly cut, and I don't know why the DA didn't investigate.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gone. Let's deal with it. And but please really look into my wife. I think she was responsible. I
have a question.
Yeah.
Can I please be put in charge of putting the QR code on there? Because I really
Nope.
I really just wanted to go to the menu for the Cheesecake Factory. I want you to put all this work into getting your QR code right.
Right.
When people go there, it's just to a menu for a restaurant.
I have a comment.
But quite a menu. I mean, the Cheesecake Factory has, I mean, that's quite a menu. So I'm there's part of me that's almost okay with that, Sona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Matt, you have a question.
I have a comment to those people who are currently visiting Conan's grave right now. Sona and I are trapped in here. Can you please get us out? Help.
No, because like any pharaoh, I wanted to be buried along with my troops
servants
and my
who
servants.
Were killed when you died.
No. You weren't killed. You were buried alive with me.
No, that's
Yes.
my biggest fear. I
Is
won't
it really?
do that. Yes, being
you won't do that?
I won't listen. If it wasn't my biggest fear, I'd be fine with it.
Okay, that's your deal breaker.
But I don't want to. I would rather not be buried alive. It really is. I have like
That's your greatest fear?
It.
What about
Yeah.
you check into a hotel and the bar is closed?
Okay.
Because I've seen you when that happens, and you start throwing shit around the lobby. It's pretty intense. No, you were buried with me and you willingly went. You're my loyal servants, and everything I'm going to need in the afterlife, which includes Matt, you, Sona, and some recording equipment, and a lot of cheese popcorn that doesn't go stale. It's hermetically sealed. That's all we need in the afterlife.
We're going to be podcasting from the afterlife. This is hell.
I know.
It's not hell. It's heaven. It's heaven.
I'm busy.
Anyway, and think about all the guests we'll get in the afterlife. Why, here comes Abe Lincoln and Gandhi. And look, they're with Dean Martin. Come on over, fellas.
They're doing a joint interview?
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's fantastic. We're going to get the best podcast guests in the afterlife. That's where all the great people are. So I'm glad we had this talk, and I'm glad we answered this question. Ben, I'm going to get to work right away on putting this QR code on my gravestone. I hope we don't need it for many, many years.
Cheesecake Factory.
But that's up to my wife and her plan to get me out of the picture. Anyway, we'll put a QR code on it, and it will link to all my greatest hits, plus every 20 minutes, the menu for the Cheesecake Factory.
Conan, your Murderville episode was awesome. Just to say,
thank
so
you.
was Marshawn's. How did that come about, and Do you think that you would do more stuff like that? And do people approach you to make appearances like that?
That's a good question too. So I'll tell you exactly what happened. I've a lot of things I say no to because it just doesn't feel right. I get a call, and I get a text. It's Will Arnett, and he says, "Can I get on the phone with you?" And I said, "Sure." So he basically said, "Hey, I'm doing this project. It's a really silly detective show, and I'm always teamed with someone who doesn't know what's happening. It'll be 2 days of shooting in the Valley." And Will Arnett is one of my favorite funny people. He didn't even finish the sentence, and I said yes. And then he did that thing where he was like, I think it'd be really good. You know,
That's a great Will Arnett.
GMC trucks. But because it was Will, whenever I'm with him, there's a couple of people who, if I'm with them, all I do is mess around. We're never real with each other.
Yeah.
And it's Will Arnett. It's Jack McBrayer.
Yep.
Whenever I'm with Jack, I don't behave, and he goes into I become the overbearing city guy.
Yeah.
Who's like, well, you know, look who just stumbled out of the cornfield. And he goes like, no, sir, I do not like it, sir. He comes to my house every year for a Christmas party. We do that.
Yeah, you do.
We stand next to the ham, and I go like, well, you probably don't know what these electric lights are. And he's like, sir, I do know what electric lights are. And people are laughing, and occasionally someone thinks I'm really doing that to him.
Yeah.
I have people occasionally like, you should be kind of nicer to Jack McBrayer. I'm like, it's a joke. I'm doing my thing. He's doing his thing. But that's the relationship I have with Will Arnett. So he said, let's do it. And then it's quite strange. They don't tell you anything. All I knew was that I was a trainee, and you're in your trailer. They come in, hair, makeup. You're waiting. Then they bring you into this giant warehouse, and where they're shooting, and they bring you in the back. And I haven't even seen Will yet. I haven't seen anybody. And I'm behind a door. And they say, when someone taps, you go in. And I can just barely hear what they're saying because I'm on the other side of all this, this set. And I'm quite a distance away, and I just hear, you've got a new partner. Not a new partner. Well, here he is right now. Let's get him in here. And then someone just taps you on the back, and you walk in. And the next thing you know, I haven't seen it yet myself, but people tell me I keep saluting people.
You do.
And I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I just will say things, and Will's trying to make me laugh, and I'm trying to make Will laugh. And
there are moments when you broke, and you could tell the two of you were just like having a really fun
he
time.
kept, and there are little things like they bring this guy in cuffs and this magician, and then he's pulling all this stuff out, and I'm like, don't people get searched when they, and Will does this thing where he laughs and holds his, then it's really fun, but it's kind of like an escape room or something. Like you don't know what's happening. It's a really good idea, I think, for a show. And I've had a lot of people say, was the hot sauce thing real? And I was like, yes, it was really real. That was very hot sauce. And Will kept putting more and more on. And my thing was, I'm going to eat as much of this as I can. And my eyes are watering. And then when the scene was over, someone came walking up to me. Everyone's masked and everything, but walking up to me with a big plastic bucket and said, if you need to throw up. I'm like, you were prepared for me to throw up?
They didn't give you like milk or anything?
Someone was standing there with milk, but I think they were drinking it. Anyway, it was really fun to do. And yes, at this point, if something sounds like it could be interesting or different or fun, I'm really up for it.
Hey, Conan, you popped up on Saturday Night Live very recently and very specially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
Especially.
Yeah, especially. I don't know if that's the right way. It was a very special episode of Saturday Night Live where they addressed eating disorders, and it started out by saying, this is a very special Saturday Night Live tonight.
Especially? What am I thinking?
I don't know what you were thinking, but Yeah, it was really nice.
It was special.
I don't know when people will be hearing this, but as I speak, it was just the other day. And what happened was John Mulaney, who I'm a huge fan of, and we've become pals over the years. He basically told me that he was going to be hosting Saturday Night Live for the 5th time, and that I was invited to come by and see the show. And I had not been back to 30 Rockefeller Center, pretty much since I departed in 2009 to come out west. So I hadn't been back there, and it felt like this is a nice way to go back. The plan was just for me to sit in the audience and get to see some of the people that or hang around backstage and watch the show, and then and reconnect with people like Jim Downey, who's was the head writer at Saturday Night Live, who hired me, who's one of the icons, one of the great comedy writers of all time. He and I have reconnected recently, so I was going to see him, and we were going to see the show together and watch John do his thing. And then John mentioned to me, he called me up, I think it was on Thursday or something, and said, "Hey, we're writing a sketch. Would you want to be in it?" And I thought, if I get paid. No, I didn't. I said, I said, sure. And what was nice about it was I always like whenever I can close a circle, or in this sort of cosmic way, there's a sketch called Five Timers Club. And it's basically anytime someone's hosted the show, their 5th time, they're welcomed into the club. Long time ago, I think this was 1989, maybe, or 1990, when I was a writer at SNL, they did the sketch for the first time. Someone thought of it, and they were welcoming Tom Hanks into the Five Timers Club. And I'm just a writer at the show, a skinny kid in his 20s. I remember Jim Downey, I think, said, well, there should be a doorman who opens the door and lets people into the club. Conan, why don't you do that? And so there's this footage you can probably see online of the very first Five Timers sketch from whatever it is, 90 or,
I saw that.
And
was that the first time you were on camera?
No, I had done other things, but this was a big one just because Steve Martin's in the sketch, and Elliot Gould's in the sketch, and Paul Simon's in the sketch. And my job was just to open the door, and I think Tom Hanks unnecessarily says a fake name for me. He says, "Oh, hello, Sean." Like, there was no reason for me to have a name, but I think he just said, "Oh, hello, Sean." And it's like, and then I put a smoking jacket on him. I remember having a little trouble with the smoking jacket for a second, and having a heart attack. But
something probably nobody else remembered.
Yeah. And then
I remember seeing this live.
Yeah.
I watched that.
And did you look at the guy who was opening the door, who worked at the Five Timers Club, named Sean, and think, that guy looks like he's got what it takes?
No, I thought that guy will someday be the bane of my existence.
A lot of people thought that, and they were right. So anyway, I did that, and it was kind of just a nice moment. Of all the moments in my life, that was just a nice little moment that I had. So then John Mulaney very kindly said, "Oh, it'd be kind of cool if Conan was in this Five Timers sketch," and came by, and he gave us the reason when they asked me, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm here to sign up for Peacock."
That was a great, great line.
But and then so John wrote this nice thing, and I thought, well, this is okay, this will be fun. And then I come back to NBC, and I hadn't been there in a long time. And it was just lovely because all these cameramen, Blay, you can jump in here because Aaron Blair, you worked with me at not at Saturday Night Live. You worked with me at Late Night, which was on the 9th. Yep. We were on the 9th floor, and SNL was on the 8th floor. And their offices are on the 17th floor. I'm just going to start naming what's on.
Keep telling us.
Then there's an insurance company on the 5th floor.
And you walk in from the front door.
Our studio, of course, on the 6th floor. No, anyway, it's Floors with Conan O'Brien.
Jesus.
Now, on the 43rd floor, it's interesting. There's a Bitcoin company now. But anyway, you work there, Blay, and so there are all these people that have worked at 30 Rock forever. And so you go there,
And people were just coming off of, it's nice. Have you ever seen the movie Sunset Boulevard? There's a scene where Nora Desmond, the aging silent film star, goes back to the studio. And she goes back to the film studio, and she hasn't been there in a long time. And she walks in, and all these people up in the cameras and holding the lights go, Nora, it's me. And she goes, oh, Giuseppe, and then another guy will go like, Ms. Desmond, good to see you. And she go, oh, it's Tommy. Hello there, Tommy. That's how it felt a little bit. I was a very old silent film star who went back, but it was really very meaningful and sweet because some of the people that worked on my late night show are there. Tina Ryan, who did worked in wardrobe, she came and found me and started. She was crying, and I practically started crying, although I didn't because I don't have a soul. But we had a really nice connection, and so many people came out and said hi, and I absolutely loved it. And then to boot, I don't take it for granted, but anytime I get to hang out, because you really do have to hang out there for a while. If you're doing it, you have to do it at Dress, you have to do it at Air. So who am I hanging out with? Tina Fey, Steve Martin, Candice Bergen was in the sketch, and Elliot Gould, and, Paul Rudd, who, it's one of those things where you'd love to be able to say, the way you think Paul Rudd is a nice guy. Well, let me tell you. And then there is not a nicer human being in the world than Paul Rudd. And he's really funny, obviously, and great. So I was just having the time of my life, hanging out with these guys.
You mentioned the podcast.
Oh yeah, well
I know.
That was
disparagingly.
You're bearing the lead.
Disparagingly,
yes.
yeah. Well, they had this great setup line, which was, I basically say, John Mulaney, this is a very special thing. Why I host, I was on TV for 30 years, and I can now, I think I'm bragging or somewhat about how I've been on TV for 30 years, and then he says, or for decades, and then he says, well, what do you do now? And I just went, I have a podcast. and getting to just hang out with such, it's funny because people assume that because I've been doing this a long time that I wouldn't get fazed by people, but I'm always going to be a little intimidated by a Steve Martin and frankly also a Tina Fey. I think she's absolutely brilliant, and every time I'm around Tina, I'm like, I'm on my best behavior because she's one of the best of all time. And so anyway, that was all great. But what was really funny is I make that kind of joke about, I'm just doing a podcast, big deal, haha. And the crowd really laughs. And then I'm walking, when the sketch is over and the band's playing, you have to walk through the crowd to get back to your dressing room. And people in the crowd started shouting, Karakai! Karakai! Oh! And I was turning around and it was so funny because I've just been like, I just have a podcast. And then I'm walking through that crowd and those chairs are on the floor and a guy goes, Karakai! And then someone else goes, Karakai! And then someone else is like, is God made her? And I'm like, man!
Oh my God!
Yeah, this is great. And then so that was, and then I went to the after party and talked to Lorne Michaels for a really long time, he's the reason anybody knows me at all. He plucked me from pretty much complete obscurity and put me in this impossible position. So that was anytime I get to cross paths with him and sit there and have a drink and talk is really a big deal for me. And also getting to talk to that cast and those writers, they're super talented. And so it just was kind of emotional, to get to go back and have that connection and also just see what good hands that show is in. They're very, very, they're talented writers and incredibly talented performers. So anyway, that was a treat.
Very cool.
Hi, my name is Claire Danes, and I am decidedly giddy about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
Are you sure the giddiness is about me? Or were you doing nitrous recently?
No, I am.
It's
very nice to see you
It's
again.
nice to see you again. I'm going to say something that I hope this comes out right, but this is how I feel. whenever I meet people, as I met you many years ago,
quite a few moons
when you
ago.
came on the show, and probably for My So-Called Life or something, just like
something ancient,
something. And I have this feeling, and I've said this to like Scarlett Johansson, who was on as a child actor. She was in a sketch that we did.
Oh, really?
Where she played we billed her as the spelling bee champion.
Oh.
And then we brought her out, and we didn't tell the audience it was all a hoax, and she couldn't spell her way out of a paper bag, which was the joke. But I'll see you or her, and I'll think, I'm like your uncle or something, because you have done so well, and then I have this weird pride, which is misplaced, because I've had nothing to do with your life.
Aww.
I've done nothing other than have you on the show a couple of times, and so I've in no way contributed to your success. But I still have this kind of weird quasi-paternal thing that I don't quite understand.
That's very sweet, and I will take that pride gladly and hungrily. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's
well.
very
Father's
kind.
Day is coming up.
Indeed.
You should probably get me a gift.
Yeah.
I also have a very nice memory of my wife and I. This was a long time ago, but
Was
we were
this in Seattle?
Yes.
At the Museum
Yes.
of Rock and Roll or something?
Yeah, it's like the music experience
Yes,
music
yes.
museum. And we're walking along, and my wife and our relationship is not that, it's not like I think we're newly married or fairly recently married, or maybe even not married yet. And you came running up to me and were really nice to me. And my wife was like, "You know Claire Danes?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
I know many people.
And that
it's
may
like
have
my job.
That may have sealed the deal for me. That may have gotten me my wife.
Good. Okay.
Of 21 years. So good for you.
Yeah, I remember it too. It was quite exciting seeing you so out of context.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that very well. There's just like these little flash moments you have. And we have so much to talk about because I saw this show that you did recently, Fleischman's in Trouble. And I was interested in it right away because I adore you. I adore Jesse Eisenberg.
It's a good group.
I love Lizzie Cal. I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
this is, and I had this thought of, they're getting some of my favorite people together to do a project, and watched it. And I was floored by what you did in that. I don't know if I want to call it a movie because it's not a TV show. It's serial. What do we call them now?
I think we call them limited series.
Limited series, very
which
good.
is like a schmancier version of mini series, which had a very different connotation
Exactly.
not so long ago.
Yeah, it's there were so many things that like after school special.
Yes, exactly. No, it's not about vaginal discharge or something.
Well, I was disappointed because I tuned in thinking that's what I was going to see. And we'll talk about it a little more later because I don't want to give anything away, but that floored me, and it shouldn't have surprised me because the work that you've done throughout your career is so good.
Oh, thank you.
And I know you hear this a lot, and it's interesting to me because knowing you just a little bit as yourself, you are so good at playing these people who are going through something torturous and who are just being crushed by like seismic plates of emotion. You're so able to do that. And then when I see you, you're just the lightest, most fun. Do you know what I mean? You're effervescent and fun, and you're a great laugher. And I think, man, she's a good actress.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I don't know. It's so exquisitely well written, this show, and it's this great magic trick that Taffy is able to create, both in her novel and in the series. I have to say, I mean, I felt so supported by the material and the people that I was making the thing with, and yeah, it's taxing and risky to venture into those dark crevices of the human experience. But I so believed in the thing and was so excited to have a chance to, explore these themes and these experiences that are so underrepresented in pop culture, that I felt really invested and able to do it.
Yeah.
And there's even some kind of joy in it. I mean, I think because I know it's in service potentially of something worthwhile.
Yep.
Sometimes it's much harder to do a kind of technically easy scene with wonky writing than a really exacting, demanding scene with excellent writing. It carries you.
I think it was Bryan Cranston said, he said, as an actor, I can get the material. If the material's like an A, I might be able to get you to an A+.
Yeah.
But he said, if the material's a C, I can get you to a C+.
Yes.
If I'm really
Totally.
on game, or maybe to a B-. But he said the really has to be on the page.
Absolutely.
And we are talking about this during this writer's strike, and it's appropriate to bring up
Here.
That is I know there's so many people that think they'll watch a show, a drama, and there are many people that think the writers are just kind of making it up as they go along. Almost like you could watch Citizen Kane and Orson Welles got Joseph Cotton, a couple of people, and they just kind of improved. And then they came up with that sled thing in the end. Isn't that crazy?
Totally.
And it's amazing, yeah.
And having spent so much of my time within television, I'm, acutely aware of how vital the writer is in the process. And the intimacy that you start to have with your writing partners on a series is kind of unmatched. I mean, it doesn't really exist to the same extent in any other medium. So I have just the deepest of respect for writers, and I'm really aware of how much I owe to them.
The success of Yellow Jackets is got to be quite satisfying, because what I've noticed as I move along, and I'm much farther along on my path, is that as I get older, I appreciate and enjoy things more. Getting to doing this podcast or whatever, any gig that I have, I kind of appreciate it. It has getting to do the show for Max or hosting the Oscars. It just feels like, I think I would have been so anxious and neurotic about it at a younger age, but now when nice things come along, I can appreciate it more. Do you have that with Yellow Jackets?
I do. I really do. And, I was, I had sort of my big moment in my 20s and went to all the award shows and all the stuff. And then that sort of stopped, and I didn't really work that much for a while. And then this Yellow Jackets thing happened, and then all of a sudden we were going to award shows again and all this stuff. And it was so interesting because this time I could just be like, oh my God, I love that guy. Hey, I'm Christina. And just be really open and easy and fun and it was like you said, I wasn't so self-conscious, and I wasn't so worried about everything. I didn't take myself as seriously as I used to, and so it's actually it has been really, really fun.
There's this quote. One of the Bee Gees said, "Second fame is so much better," and I guess the Bee Gees stories, which I didn't even really know. There's an amazing documentary about them, and I didn't really know much about them at all, but it's a fantastic documentary. And I didn't realize they were huge pop stars in the 60s. And then it soured, it like anything. The time passed, and then they're trying to figure it out, and they're bumming around, and they're completely out of it. And they're a once was, and then they reconstitute and become this 70s juggernaut phenomenon, one of the biggest groups of the 70s, if not the biggest. And they were like, oh, it's just much more pleasant the second time around because we know what that is. And so now it can be more about, as you said, you can go to these shows and not be neurotic and freaked out and just enjoy.
It also feels so different now, too. Just Hollywood in general feels
How does it feel different?
Everybody just seems happy to be there in a way that wasn't like that in the early 2000s. everything felt so serious then, and about like power and position and ambition, and it was really serious. And now it just feels like people actually celebrate at these award shows and are like happy to see each other, and there's enough room for everybody. And I feel like it was so much smaller before that it didn't feel like there was enough room for everybody. And it just has like a much nicer feeling, I think, in general.
Something too about maybe the fact that the business has changed so much.
Yeah.
When I came up, when you came up, but still we're talking about a limited number of networks. There's no streaming.
What I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And now if you've got a good idea, there's a good chance you can get it out there somewhere. I mean, even the natures of movies has changed where it's not the giant blockbuster. And there's a plus and minus to that's at the award shows, but there is less of a feeling of it's a small club that's a few people are allowed into.
Yeah.
So many people can have a great idea, get it on YouTube, get it out there. If they've got talent and ability, they can find a streamer, they can find a way to get their vision made. And it just feels a little more user-friendly now.
Yes. It's softer and gentler and it's less desperate.
Yeah. Unless you want to shoot in Los Angeles.
Well, then, I mean, honestly.
That's getting weird.
I don't actually know how anyone makes that happen.
It's really getting, I mean, not to take things down, but that is a big change that's happened.
Yeah.
Is people will shoot something that takes place in Los Angeles on Hollywood and Vine, and they'll go up to Nova Scotia to shoot it and recreate Hollywood and Vine and put your star.
They can't. Ricci. I'm sorry, I will not allow that. You do not.
They moved it an
hour
ago. They moved it an hour ago.
Putting my foot down
without telling you.
Either shoot in LA or.
That's the kind of power I've got in this town.
Can't have my star in your movie.
What's it like? Because with Yellow Jackets, you have this interesting thing where your character Misty, you're playing as an adult, but also there's an actress who's playing you as a child or a kid. I shouldn't say child, but as a teenager. Yeah, as a kid. To me, at 85. It still seems like a child because I'm doing that thing where I want to say I'm 85 now just to get used to it.
Yeah, I've already started. I'm going as far as 87. So anytime I can't work anything,
I love that.
Anytime I can't work anything, I'm like, well, I'm basically 87 when it comes to technology. And the more I say it, like the more I'm feeling more comfortable.
I love that you're 2 years older than me.
I'm older than you.
Is it Sammy Hanratty? Is that the actress who plays you? And it's interesting. I don't know how much do you have communication with the actress who plays younger you to try and see if anything needs to line up, or is that overthinking it?
Well, we did in the very beginning. You know, we shot the pilot and then COVID happened. So it was about almost a year and a half later that we actually went to series. And so she and I met up to discuss, we're really, really different people personality-wise. Like it's surprising how different we are. And so we sort of compared notes, the different performance notes that we've been given, because it was interesting to hear what they wanted to correct or were worried about. Because, like, you know, she's a very bubbly, dynamic, like charming, sweet person. And so to hear what they were concerned was going to come out in her performance was interesting to me. And then to hear what they were afraid I was going to do was very interesting as well. So, like, mine was all about, like, no, she's charming and everyone loves her and all she wants is love and she's human. And hers were like, Kathy Bates from Misery. And, like, you know what I mean? So it just was really funny.
There's a rumor that they put her on depressants. We got to reach you up a little bit. We're putting you on a massive dose of depressants.
Yeah, they were like trying to make me more adorable and her less adorable. And so by doing that, we both felt like we understood like where the parameters were for the character. But beyond that, we never really. I'm very sensitive about not being condescending. Like I even have trouble complimenting people because I feel like it's condescending. And I guess I don't know why, but I just do. So anytime the idea of like giving another actress performance advice or notes to me just sounds like really I'm overstepping my place.
Yeah.
So we both have we have our own performances, and when you think about it too, 30 years like
30 years and a lot of intense stuff has
That's
happened.
right. 30 years of like squeezing and rejection and pressure and trauma and all this stuff. You're not going to be the same exact person you were.
Right.
So I think it really does work out. And the writing on the show is really good. And the character is very consistent on the page.
Yeah.
So it's kind of okay for any kind of differences or variations in our performances.
What do you do to get yourself in the right space before you go out there and do a show?
Well, I'm getting older, so it's a lot of, I think it would be the same thing that you would imagine a retired footballer would do if you said you have to play this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of creaking and stretching and asking people to manipulate this and loosen that. And, it's that kind of thing.
I've gotten into trouble asking people that.
Yeah. Please, could you manipulate this and
please manipulate me? Why am I being sued?
As the venues become the same as sports, so the preparations do too.
That makes sense to me.
When we were playing in bars, I don't drink, but the rest of the band were drinking. When we were playing in arenas, the rest of them were doing, arena type stuff. And when you're playing stadiums, it's like preparing for a big soccer game or a big NFL game, and you're going to get some muscle issues. And
I also think, even though I have had people make fun of me because I'll be about to do a show where I'm sitting and chatting with someone and I'm stretching, and people say, "What are you stretching for? You're not going to in any way do anything slightly athletic." And I say, it's something about preparing. I need to do something for myself that gets me to a slightly elevated
I think
place.
That comes from physical stuff and from uniforms. I think that we see it all around the world. Anyone that's given a uniform to enforce a rule can do it very, very firmly when they have their uniform. But if they were wearing shorts and a t-shirt, you wouldn't take them seriously.
Right.
In the same way that I could not go on stage dressed like this, I would not be able to do it. I have to put on my uniform, which looks pretty similar. But I know it's my band uniform.
Yeah, that makes sense to me though too, because I've always felt a performance has to be slightly, you get to a slightly different place than we're sitting here, I'm wearing jeans, you're wearing sweats, we're chatting. If there was an audience here, I sometimes, even if I'll put on a tie, even if it's not required, I just feel that I need to do something that shows that I'm an ice cream man and I put on my ice cream man uniform.
Yeah. Well, this is a cool, I don't know if this is interesting, but it's been on my mind because I got told that I got in trouble for not dressing up enough for the Grammys.
Mm-hmm.
Although my partner said, you did dress up, you put shoes on. which was A, true, and B, really kind.
Uh-huh.
But I was thinking about, I am happy to feel like I have to wear an outfit if it helps me perform better, but I don't agree with telling people what they have to wear.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hangover from school where you're told you have to wear this, or I need to write a treatise on this, like the sort of clothing rules.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's
on my mind, but it's
on your mind because, well, first of all, it's the Grammys and it's representing all different kinds of music and free expression. So the idea that you need to dress up for the Grammys,
but there's also a thing of, does clothing show respect? And I would never want to show disrespect. So because I love the Grammys, so I was interested. Maybe I was wrong, or maybe we're sort of brainwashed to thinking if you're not wearing a tuxedo, you can't get married, kind of thing.
Right.
Well,
right.
Of course you can if you're hot. What if you're an axe murderer and you're dressed correctly? Are you a better groom than Woody Harrelson over here, who loves you with all his heart but is wearing board shorts?
Right.
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 No, you're not. But then
I didn't know the answer, and I think Woody is very violent, in my experience.
Well, I'm going to give big shout out to Woody Harrelson because he was at a concert of ours one day. He was so kind to my brother when he had no reason to be, that he just became an extra hero in my eyes.
Well, that's nice when obviously people are nice to you, but it's so delightful when you find out who someone really is, when you find out later on that they talked for 20 minutes to the person who was installing cable. I don't know. I love that. When people reveal their true kindness through just
Well, he did another thing too.
It wasn't performative, yeah.
Something I learned from my dad is that everybody is interesting if you ask them questions. You know? Everybody. And my dad is amazing at that, and he comes out on tour a lot. And he doesn't necessarily know who people are from movies. So he talks to our crew a lot, and a lot of them have names like Bash or Hoppy, Mystic, things like that. And then he met this guy called Woody, and he started talking about, you know, what do you do? Do you fold the cables? And it was Woody Harrelson. and hello, Woody, like this.
And then he told you, I met this lovely fellow named Woody.
Yeah. And again, Woody Harrelson was cool as fuck. And
well, I was many years ago had a party, and Jim Carrey was there, and my mother was there. And at one point, I see my mother talking to Jim Carrey, and I'm thinking, oh God, what's happening? And then she came over to me and she went, I just talked to the loveliest young man. His name's Jim. And I said, oh, you talked to Jim? And she was like, yes. And I told him, if you want to be in comedy, you stick with it. And they're going to try and put you down, but you keep... Of course, he had like 9... He was the biggest star in the world at the time. And I said, Mom, all I want you to do is go back to Boston and tell your friends you told Jim Carrey to stick with comedy.
That's great.
And she did, and got laughed out of town.
That's amazing. I was visiting my friend who had cancer at the time in New York, in hospital. And I was coming down in the elevator with a nurse in all her glory, like 6 pens in the pocket, like, you know. And I was singing it, not loudly, not like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
But I was mumbling or something. And she said, oh, you have a beautiful voice. And I said, oh, thank you so much. She said, you know, you should do something with that. and I said, oh, yeah, well, maybe. And she said, also, you look like the guy from Coldplay. This is really true. And I said, okay, yeah, people say that. And she said, you know what you should do? You should call restaurants and say that you're him, because you would get really good tables. And then she left.